For more than 20 years, the galaxy had been burning. The Torgath Dominion and the Volari Union, two massive alien empires, fought across star systems like wild beasts locked in a cage. Whole planets turned to ash, fleets vanished in seconds, civilizations fell apart. Everyone believed the war would never end. No one expected peace, no one expected change, no one expected humans. On the edge of neutral space, a small Torgath listening station floated quietly in the dark. It was a lonely place, with only 12 officers working daily shifts. Nothing ever happened there. Most days the only sound was the soft hum of machines and the tired sighs of bored guards. But tonight was different. At 3:11 station time, the sensor officer, Ralak, sat up sharply in his chair. His sleepy eyes widened as the scanner lit up bright red with impossible readings. Energy spikes. Huge energy spikes. He tapped the screen twice, thinking it was an error. But the numbers only grew stronger. "Commander, you need to see this," Ralak whispered, his voice shaking. Commander Tovan entered the room with annoyance on his face. Until he saw the display himself, his jaw dropped. His hands trembled. This cannot be right. The scanner showed something bigger than a supernova, yet controlled and moving with purpose. No known weapon, ship, or empire had energy like this. "Run a second scan," Tovan ordered. Ralak tried, but the computer froze for a moment, overwhelmed by the readings. When it finally processed the data, the screen flashed a single warning: object approaching, extreme energy source, unknown origin. The alarms erupted across the station. Red lights filled the hallways. Officers ran from room to room. Voices shouted in confusion and fear. What is it? Is it a Volari superweapon? Is the war coming here? Tovan forced himself to stay calm. "Put it on the main screen." The blackness of space appeared, and something began to emerge from the void. At first, it looked like a shadow, then a shape, then many shapes, then an entire wall of metal stretching across the stars. Not one ship, not a fleet, but an armada big enough to block starlight. Thousands of ships, all moving in perfect formation, all silent, all glowing with strange golden lights. Tovan whispered, This isn't possible." The ships kept coming. Row after row, thousands more, maybe tens of thousands. The formation was so perfect that it looked unnatural, like the ships shared a single mind. Tovan felt fear crawl down his spine. Who has this kind of power? Then the largest ship, so big it made dreadnoughts look tiny, turned slowly toward the listening station. Its surface glowed brighter and brighter, like a star trapped inside armor. The station's communications panel lit up. "Incoming message," Ralak said. "But the language is unknown." "Play it," Tovan ordered. A deep, calm voice filled the room. Designation humanity, entering the conflict. All sides stand down. Silence fell. Ralak blinked in confusion. Did it say humanity? Tovan shook his head violently. "That's impossible. Humans are a minor species. They do not have this. They cannot have this." Everyone in the room knew humans. Small, quiet, and technologically behind. Their ships were simple, their weapons weak. They barely traveled outside their own star cluster, so how could this be real? Tovan shouted, "Scan again!" But the scanners were dying, overwhelmed by the power. The numbers on the screen spiked so high they became unreadable. "These energy levels," Ralak whispered, voice trembling. "Commander, no one in the galaxy has tech like this." Another officer added, "This fleet, it could wipe out the Torgath Dominion and the Volari Union at the same time." Someone else whispered, "If humans built this, what else have they been hiding?" Fear spread like wildfire. This was not a normal fleet, not a normal army. This was something built with purpose, with intention, with terrifying precision. Tovan finally snapped out of shock and spoke. "Send an emergency broadcast to High Command, now. Warn every faction. Tell them humanity has entered the war." Ralak sent the message at once. The emergency beacon shot across space, reaching every Torgath command center within minutes. From there, the news spread even faster. Across the galaxy, Volari leaders received the same alert. Their councils, known for their calm logic, panicked. Their scientists demanded answers. Their generals feared total destruction. Across both empires, the same questions echoed. Why are humans here? Are they choosing a side? Did someone attack them? Are they here to end the war? And the most frightening question of all, what if humans want the galaxy for themselves? Back at the listening station, the crew continued to watch the human fleet move silently through space. Not a single shot fired, not a single hostile action. But the sheer size and power was enough to crush worlds. Tovan stared at the largest ship. Its lights glowed like the heart of a star. Its hull seemed to ripple with living energy, and its engines hummed with a sound that felt ancient and new at the same time. He whispered, "Humanity, what have you become?" The human fleet did not answer. It simply advanced, slow and unstoppable, toward the war-torn center of the galaxy. And as it moved, the galaxy itself trembled. The message spread across the galaxy faster than any weapon, faster than any fleet, faster than fear itself. Humanity has entered the war. At first, many leaders thought it was a joke, some kind of mistake from the Torgath listening station. Humans had always stayed far from galactic politics. They avoided conflict, avoided alliances, avoided trouble. The galaxy barely noticed they existed most days. But then the recordings arrived, footage of thousands of human ships moving in perfect formation, rows and rows of metal giants glowing with gold light, a super fleet larger than anything the galaxy had ever seen. When the video reached the Valari High Council chamber, the room erupted into chaos. Counselor Vera slammed her hands on the table. How is this possible? Humans had no major fleet, no advanced weapons, nothing. General Kelron shook his head, disbelief written all over his face. These ships, they break our scanners. Their energy output is beyond anything we have. If this is real, humans now control the largest military force in the galaxy. A young strategist whispered, "Why are humans here? Who called them? What do they want?" All eyes turned to the live projection of the human fleet. Not one ship wavered, not one ship fired, not one ship spoke. The silence was more terrifying than any threat. Meanwhile, in the Torgath Dominion, fear spread even faster. The Dominion's warlords gathered in their war chamber, an enormous hall filled with holograms of star maps, fleet routes, and battle zones. The moment the human fleet appeared on screen, every warlord fell silent. Warlord Kargan snarled. Humans stayed quiet for years, and now they come with this many ships? How did they hide them? How did we not see anything? Another warlord, old and cautious, answered, "Because we underestimated them. We thought humans were weak. We stopped watching them." Kargan gritted his teeth. A mistake, a dangerous mistake. In the far corners of the galaxy, independent kingdoms, trade empires, pirates, and mercenary clans all received the same recording. Every reaction was the same: shock, confusion, fear. Rumors exploded across Ever. Communication channel. Humans found ancient alien technology. Humans made a pact with gods. Humans created artificial suns to power their ships. Humans built these ships in another dimension. No rumor made sense, but no one could deny the truth. The human fleet existed, and it was terrifying. In the Valari Union, the panic grew deeper. Counselor Vera activated the emergency briefing. "We must decide immediately. Do humans threaten us or the Dominion?" General Kelron sighed heavily. "We don't know their target. Their fleet is simply moving forward. Slow, steady, and silent. Maybe someone attacked them," another counselor suggested. "Maybe they're angry. Maybe they're choosing a side. Or maybe," General Kelron said quietly, "they are here to end the war entirely." Everyone stared at him. "That is impossible," Counselor Vera said. "Ending this war would require power far beyond anything the galaxy has. Only the Ancient Ones could do that." Kelron nodded toward the hologram of the human flagship. That ship alone might rival the Ancient Ones. The council chamber fell silent. Across the galaxy, fear turned into speculation. Every government tried to guess humanity's purpose. Some said humans wanted revenge for old insults. Some said humans wanted territory. Some believed humans came to protect themselves from the spreading war. And a few whispered something even more frightening. Humans are not here because of the war between Torgath and Valari. They are here because something worse is coming. Those words spread like poison, feeding the growing fear. In the Torgath Dominion, the Emperor called an emergency meeting of his top advisors. "We cannot allow humans to gain control of the battlefield," the Emperor said. "If they choose a side, the war ends in seconds, and we lose either way." His advisors shifted uncomfortably. One dared to speak. "Should we prepare our weapons?" The Emperor shook his head quickly. "No, not yet. Humans crippled our fleet at the border without harming anyone. If we attacked them, they might destroy us completely for the first time in decades. The mighty Torgath Dominion felt helpless. Across the Valari Union, similar talks happened. We must send negotiators. No, we must prepare defenses. No, we must watch them first. But everyone knew the truth. If humans wanted war, neither side stood a chance. While governments panicked, everyday citizens across the galaxy reacted with wild emotions. Some were hopeful. If humans stop the war, we can rebuild our worlds. Some were fearful. If humans conquer the galaxy, we are doomed. Some were curious. Why did humans hide all this time? Some were fascinated. How did such a small species build the strongest fleet in the galaxy? And some felt something they had never felt before: respect. For years, humans were considered weak. Now they were something more. Meanwhile, aboard the human flagship, Admiral Rowan Hale watched the chaos unfold through intercepted transmissions. His calm eyes reflected no fear, no excitement, only purpose. "Everything is going as expected," his assistant said. Hale nodded. "The galaxy must understand we did not come in anger, but they will fear us," the assistant said quietly. "They already do," Hale replied. "But soon they will understand why we are here." He turned toward the vast human fleet stretching across space. "Prepare our next transmission." As humanity's ships moved deeper into the war zone, silent, coordinated, unstoppable, the galaxy trembled, and everyone wondered the same thing: what does humanity want? The galaxy had seen many strange things, but nothing compared to the moment humanity finally broke its silence. Across the Torgath Dominion and the Valari Union, leaders, generals, scientists, and diplomats gathered around hologram screens. Every communication channel, every secure line, and every emergency broadcast frequency suddenly flickered with the same image: a room filled with white light, smooth metal walls, a raised platform, and standing on it, a human. He appeared calm, tall, and confident, wearing a dark navy uniform marked with a glowing silver emblem on his chest. He was not smiling. He was not angry. His expression was steady, controlled, and powerful. "Connection stable," the human said. "Transmission to all warring factions confirmed." His voice carried a quiet authority that made even hardened alien commanders lean forward. "My name is Admiral Rowan Hale," he said. "I speak for humanity." Silence followed. Every alien leader listening felt tension rise in their chest. This was no ordinary human. His posture, his tone, his eyes, they held the weight of a species that was no longer weak, no longer small, no longer silent. Admiral Hale looked directly at the viewers as if he could see each of them personally. "Humanity never wished to join your war," he said. "For decades, we have watched from a distance. We remained neutral. We did not interfere." He spoke simply, but every word carried power. "We believed this war had nothing to do with us. We believed you would resolve your conflict. We believed peace would return." The hologram shifted slightly. Admiral Hale clasped his hands behind his back, but we were wrong. A new image appeared beside him: a damaged human exploration ship, broken in half, drifting in dark space. Fires burned along its hull. Escape pods floated lifeless. The silence across the galaxy became deeper. "This ship," Hale said quietly, "was investigating a nearby star cluster when it was caught in crossfire between a Valari battlecruiser and a Torgath hunter vessel." He paused for a long moment. "Civilians died." He let those two words sink into every heart in the galaxy. Civilians. Humans who were not soldiers. Humans who had nothing to do with the war. Humans exploring space, not seeking conflict. "We sent messages," Hale continued. "We asked for answers. We asked for responsibility, not revenge, only the truth." His voice became colder, but both factions denied the incident. Both blamed the other. No one apologized. No one took responsibility for the civilians who lost their lives. The hologram shifted back to Hale, and so humanity prepared. Across the galaxy, alien leaders exchanged nervous glances. Their fleets were huge, but humanity's fleet, seen earlier by the Torgath listening station, was unlike anything they had imagined. Humans built a fleet, whispered a Valari counselor. "A fleet stronger than both our empires combined," said a Torgath warlord. Admiral Hale continued speaking, unaware of, or perhaps unconcerned by, the panic he caused. We did not prepare for conquest. We did not prepare to rule. We prepared because you forced us to choose. The next line struck the galaxy like a meteor. We are not here to conquer. We are not here to kneel. We are here because you forced us to choose. Every alien watching felt the weight of those words. Humanity was declaring its stance not with threats, but with undeniable truth. Admiral Hale took a slow breath. For too long you have destroyed systems, shattered planets, and erased lives. We stayed silent because we believed your war did not concern us. His eyes hardened. But when innocent humans died, our silence ended. A ripple of shock passed through both empires. Humans were not joining the Valari. Humans were not joining the Torgath. Humans were standing alone, and they were stronger than both. A new hologram materialized beside Hale, an image of the massive human fleet, stretching across stars like a metal ocean. Thou. Sands of ships moved in formation, engines glowing gold. Our fleet is now fully deployed, Hale said. We choose neither side. We will not take your planets. We will not claim territories. Then he raised a hand and pointed at the camera, at the galaxy itself. But the war ends now. The statement echoed through every chamber of power. Valari leaders gasped. Torgath warlords growled nervously. Independent groups froze in fear. No one had ever spoken to the galaxy like this. No one had ever dared, Admiral Hale continued, voice steady and unshakable. Stop the war now, or humanity will stop it for you. The words were not shouted. They were not angry. They were simply true, and that made them terrifying. Across the galaxy, admirals watched recordings of the human fleet again and again. Engineers studied images of human ship designs, trying to understand how such small beings had created something so advanced. Diplomats whispered among themselves, wondering whether humans were bluffing. But deep inside, every leader knew humanity was not bluffing. Hale gave one final message. We will give you time, short time, enough to consider peace, enough to pull back your fleets, enough to end your destruction. His expression softened, but only slightly. We ask for peace first, action second, but make no mistake, humanity does not fear either path. Those words lingered in every mind. For the first time in 2 decades, the war paused. Fleets stopped firing, battleships dimmed their weapons, generals held their orders, soldiers waited in silence, not because the Valari or the Torgath wanted peace, but because humanity demanded it. The hologram flickered. Admiral Hale gave a final nod. Humanity has spoken, and then the signal ended. Across the galaxy, leaders stared into the empty screens, trembling from what they had witnessed. Humanity, once ignored and underestimated, becomes something far greater, something the galaxy could no longer control, something the galaxy could no longer fight, something the galaxy now had to respect. Across the galaxy, both the Torgath Dominion and the Valari Union fell into a deep, uncomfortable silence. Humanity's warning still echoed in every command center. Alien leaders, normally proud and loud, now spoke in careful whispers. Something had shifted in the balance of power, something no one expected. Humanity was no longer a quiet observer. They were now the strongest force in the galaxy. Inside the Valari Union's Grand Strategy Hall, 10 generals and 20 high-ranking advisors gathered around a giant holographic display. It showed a rotating image of the human fleet, the Aegis Armada, every ship glowing with golden light and impossible energy readings. General Kelron pointed at the hologram. Run the simulations again. A young Valari technician nodded and activated the battle program. Dozens of Valari warships formed a formation on the screen and charged at the human fleet. Within seconds, the simulation ended. Every Valari ship was destroyed. Kelron clenched his jaw. Try it with twice the fleet. The simulation restarted, this time with hundreds of Valari vessels, including super dreadnoughts and ion cruisers. 10 seconds later, the result was the same. Valari forces, 0% survival. Human fleet, 100% intact. Whispers filled the room. This is impossible. No fleet has ever been this strong. How did humans hide this level of power? The chief strategist stepped forward. Human weapons bend gravity itself. Their cannons do not fire light or plasma. They fire compressed gravity waves. When it hits a ship, it folds the hull into nothing. General Kelron stared at him. How do we defend against that? We can't, the strategist answered. The room fell silent, heavy, fearful silence across the galaxy. In the Torgath Dominion, the reaction was even worse. Inside the Dominion's war chamber, Warlord Kargan roared with frustration. His sharp claws scratched deep marks into the metal table. Humans should not have this technology. They were weak, he shouted. Warlord Dravik, older and calmer, replied, We underestimated them. Humans evolved faster than expected. They unified. They built in secret. And now, we face the price. Kargan slammed a fist on the table. We will not bow to humans. Prepare simulations. I will show you that the Dominion still has power. Technicians quickly loaded the battle programs. A large hologram appeared showing the Torgath's strongest fleet, millions of tons of metal, hundreds of warships, fearsome and deadly. Run the attack, Kargan ordered. The simulation began. The Torgath fleet charged at the human formation. Human ships glowed softly, then bent space, disappearing for a split second before reappearing in new positions. A single gravity cannon fired. The explosion didn't look like light or fire. It looked like a ripple in space, a tear that spread silently across the battlefield. Every Torgath warship caught in the ripple simply vanished. In less than 12 seconds, the entire fleet was gone. Simulation complete. Result, Torgath defeat. Kargan stepped back, his face pale. Run it again. They did 10 times, 20 times, 50 times. Every simulation ended the same way. Torgath Dominion, 0% chance of victory. Humanity, 100% dominance. No matter the formation, no matter the number of ships, no matter the weapon type, nothing worked. Warlord Dravik spoke quietly. We cannot win, Kargan. Humans have surpassed us. This is not a war we can fight. Kargan growled softly, anger fading into fear. He had never felt helpless before, but now, facing humanity's rise, every instinct in his body warned him the Dominion was outmatched. Across both empires, panic grew. Scientists analyzed human ship designs and failed to understand the technology. Diplomats argued endlessly about sending peace messages. Military leaders tried to create new strategies, but even the most advanced intelligence systems predicted the same outcome. If humans attack, the galaxy falls. Some leaders began to ask frightening questions. What if humans want to rule the galaxy? What if they plan to conquer us? What if their fleet is only the beginning? The more they studied humanity, the more the fear grew. Humans had changed. They once used slow engines and weak shields. They once fought with small ships and simple weapons. They once stayed at the edge of the galaxy unnoticed. Now their ships moved faster than light ripples. Their shields absorbed energy like oceans absorb rain. Their weapons bent space as if it were fabric, and their fleet was too large to count. The Valari High Council met again to discuss options. We should open diplomatic channels, Councillor Vera insisted. If humans want peace, we must encourage it, General Kelron disagreed. Humans say they do not want war, but that doesn't mean they won't take advantage of our fear, another counselor whispered, if they want the galaxy. We are already too late. Across the room, one of the youngest advisors spoke up. What if humans don't want conquest? What if they came for something else? Kelron raised an eyebrow. Something else? Like what? The young advisor hesitated. I don't know, but humanity didn't fire on anyone. They didn't attack. They only warned. Vera nodded. Humans disabled fleets without harming anyone. That shows mercy, not domination. Kelron sighed. Or it shows confidence. A species that's strong doesn't need to kill. Meanwhile, on the human flagship, Admiral Hale watched intercepted alien discussions with quiet concern. They fear us. Deeply, his assistant said. They should, Hale replied. But fear alone will not bring peace. We must guide them carefully or force them, the assistant asked. Hale shook his head. Only if necessary. The galaxy is unstable. If we show aggression, they will panic. Panic leads to mistakes, and mistakes lead to war. He looked out at the endless stars beyond the flagship window. The galaxy trembles, Hale said softly, but soon they will understand why we are truly here. In both the Valari Union and the Torgath Dominion, leaders gathered one final time that night. Their greatest fear now was not human weapons, but human purpose. What did humanity really want? Why did they enter the war? What was their ultimate goal? No one had the answer, and that uncertainty shook the galaxy more than any weapon ever could. The galaxy had seen many battles, many wars, many victories, but nothing prepared anyone for what happened next. The human fleet had entered the war zone, moving slowly and silently, like a calm storm waiting to reveal its strength. Every faction watched closely, unsure of humanity's true purpose. But in the Torgath Dominion, one warlord refused to wait. Warlord Kargan stood on the bridge of his flagship, fists clenched, eyes burning with pride and anger. He had spent his entire life fighting wars. He believed the Dominion was unbeatable. And he refused to accept that humans, small, quiet, almost forgotten humans, could suddenly rise above them. "This is our galaxy," Kargan growled. "Not theirs, not ever theirs." His officers looked worried, but none dared argue. "Prepare the fleet," Kargan ordered. "We strike the humans now. We will show the galaxy that the Dominion bows to no one." A nervous lieutenant stepped forward. "But Warlord, the simulations." "I do not care about simulations," Kargan roared. "Humans are bluffing. Their fleet is large, yes, but their power cannot be real. Attack at once." The officers exchanged fearful glances, but followed orders. Hundreds of Torgath ships formed into attack formation. Cruisers, destroyers, ion frigates, and even 2 dreadnoughts armed with planet-killer cannons. From a distance, the human carrier group looked peaceful, calm. Their ships did not move. Their weapons did not glow. No shields activated. To Kargan, this looked like weakness. To all ships, he commanded, "Fire at will!" And the battlefield exploded. Hundreds of plasma torpedoes shot through space. Ion lances streaked forward like blue lightning. Planet breaker cannons lit the darkness with blinding white fire. Every weapon in the Torgath arsenal unleashed its full fury at the human fleet. The Dominion officers cheered, believing victory was certain. But then, everything changed. Not slowly, not softly, but instantly. A single pulse of golden light rippled from the human flagship. Soft at first, like a gentle heartbeat. It expanded outward in a perfect sphere, glowing brighter and brighter as it traveled. The Torgath weapons hit the sphere and vanished. No explosion, no impact, just silent disappearance, like raindrops falling into an endless ocean. Kargan froze. What is this?" Then the golden wave reached the Torgath fleet. Engines died first. Every ship groaned as power cut out. Next, weapons locked. Control panels went completely dark. Then shields collapsed. Lights flickered and faded. The mighty fleet of the Dominion drifted helplessly in space. Dead, silent, powerless, not destroyed, not damaged, simply switched off, as if the humans had pressed a single button and ended the entire battle. On the bridge of the human flagship, Admiral Rowan Hale watched calmly as data appeared on his screen. "Torgath fleet disabled," his officer reported. "No casualties. Their life support remains stable." Hale nodded. "Good. Open a channel." His voice echoed across every Torgath ship, filling their powerless consoles with sound. "Warlord Kargan, your fleet has been neutralized. No lives were taken. This is mercy. Do not test us again." Kargan's face twisted in shock and rage. "You dare speak to me like—" But his voice cracked. He realized he was shouting at an enemy who could end his life in a microsecond, yet chose not to. Admiral Hale continued, "Humanity is not your enemy unless you force us to be. Stand down now, and you will not be harmed." The transmission ended. For a long moment, Kargan said nothing. The bridge was silent except for the faint hum of emergency lights. His officers looked at him with a mixture of pity, fear, and disbelief. Their strongest fleet, their proudest ships, their warlord's confidence, all defeat. Ed, with a single pulse of energy, "Warlord." A trembling officer whispered, We cannot fight them." Kargan sank into his chair, eyes empty. "No," he said softly. "We cannot." News of the event spread instantly. The Valari Union Council watched the footage with wide eyes. They disabled a full fleet. "Without killing anyone," Counselor Vira whispered. General Kelron muttered, "If humans wanted war, Kargan would already be dead." Across independent star systems, crowds gathered around public screens. replaying the incredible moment when human technology erased a war fleet with no effort. This is impossible. Humans have become gods. No, they have become protectors. Every faction realized the same terrifying truth. Humanity was not bluffing. A new broadcast went out, visible to every major power. The galaxy watched as Admiral Hale stood before a star map glowing behind him. Humanity does not seek conquest. We disabled the Torgath fleet because they attacked without warning. No one died. No one was punished. This is not war. It is a warning. He looked directly toward the camera, his voice calm and powerful. For 20 years you have destroyed the galaxy. Now you will stop. We do not threaten your worlds. We do not want your territory. We want peace. But if you force conflict, we will end it. The message stunned every viewer. No empire had ever spoken with such confidence. No species had ever displayed such power. No leader had ever shown such control. Humanity had revealed its strength and its restraint. In the Torgath Dominion, Warlord Kargan bowed his head for the first time in his life. In the Valari Union, council members debated whether humanity was the galaxy's savior or its new ruler. In independent sectors, civilians whispered hopeful prayers, believing humanity might finally end the endless war. And across every corner of the galaxy, one question echoed. If humans can stop a fleet with one pulse of energy, what else can they do? The answer was not yet known. But one thing was clear. The galaxy trembled, not from fear of destruction, but from the awakening of a new power, a power called humanity. The galaxy had already been shaken by the arrival of humanity's massive fleet. It had been terrified when humans disabled an entire Torgath war force without harming a single life. But now, something far bigger was coming, something the galaxy did not expect, something that changed everything. Inside the Valari High Council chamber, leaders sat frozen as a new human broadcast began. The lights dimmed, the screen flickered, and once again, Admiral Rowan Hale appeared, calm, steady, focused. Leaders of the galaxy, he said, you deserve to know the truth. His voice echoed through every major empire, station, and warship. Even civilians across the galaxy watched the transmission with wide eyes. Everyone sensed something important, something dangerous, was about to be revealed. Hale continued. Humanity did not build the Aegis Armada to fight you. We did not prepare for war against the Torgath or the Valari. Our purpose is far greater and far more frightening. A large hologram formed behind him, an image of deep space far beyond the known galaxy. It showed empty regions, dead stars, shattered planets. Then the image zoomed in. A black swarm filled the space, moving like a living storm. It spiraled, expanded, and consumed everything in its path. Gasps filled alien Kaun, still chambers across the galaxy. This is what we call the Void Swarm, Hale said. It is not a species. It is not an army. It is a force of pure destruction. The swarm moved across the hologram, swallowing a bright star. Within seconds, the star disappeared, leaving only darkness behind. Hale allowed the horrifying image to sink in. This swarm does not think, he said. It does not communicate. It does not negotiate. It only feeds. It eats energy. It eats matter. It even devours space-time. Across the Valari chamber, a diplomat whispered, "How long until it reaches us?" Hale answered quietly, as if hearing the question from across the galaxy. "We believe the swarm will enter your star systems in less than 5 years." 5 years. That number hit the galaxy harder than any weapon. 5 years until extinction. 5 years until planets vanished. 5 years until fleets, cities, and entire civilizations were eaten. In the Torgath Dominion, Warlord Dravik stared at the screen with trembling hands. "All our weapons, all our armies, none of it matters," Hale continued. "Human scientists discovered traces of the swarm 15 years ago. We found dead galaxies, silent and empty. We followed the pattern. We calculated its path." He looked directly into the camera. "The swarm is coming here, to your worlds, to ours, and nothing in the galaxy can stop it alone." Leaders exchanged frightened looks. For the first time in decades, the warring factions felt united. Not by choice, but by fear. Hale went on, "When our exploration ship was destroyed in your crossfire, many humans died. But instead of seeking revenge, we looked deeper into the data that ship collected. The hologram changed again, showing strange symbols and readings. That ship recorded early signs of the swarm. If it had not died, we would never have seen the danger in time. A Valari scientist whispered, "So, Huma, Ennis knew long before we did." "Yes," Hale said softly, "and because you ignored our warnings, we knew we had to prepare alone." The scene now showed the secret human building sites, moons hollowed into shipyards, dark planets filled with reactors, orbital stations producing weapons of impossible design. The scale was breathtaking. For 15 years, Hale said, every human world united. We stopped arguing. We stopped fighting. We stopped expanding. We focused on one goal, building the Aegis Armada. A slow, proud smile touched his lips. The greatest fleet ever made by any species. Across the galaxy, for the first time, aliens felt awe instead of fear. Humanity had not built the Armada to conquer anyone. They had built it to save everyone. Hale continued, "We do not come as conquerors. We do not come as rulers. We come as defenders." The entire galaxy listened in stunned silence. "We ask you now, end your war. Unite your fleets, share your knowledge, prepare your people, because the void swarm is coming, and we must face it together." His voice hardened, not in anger, but in absolute determination. If you choose unity, humanity will stand with you. If you choose destruction, humanity will still fight, but we will fight alone. The leaders of the Torgath and Valari looked at one another, realizing their petty war was nothing compared to what approached from the darkness. Warlord Kargan, once proud and stubborn, lowered his head. "We cannot win against humans, and we cannot win against the swarm," Councillor Vera whispered. "If humans wanted the galaxy, they would have taken it already." Then another message appeared behind Hale, one final, powerful statement. "We do not want to rule you. We want to save you. Choose unity or choose extinction." Silence followed, a long, heavy silence that spread across every star system. For the first time in the war-torn galaxy's history, leaders made their decision not out of pride, but out of survival. Valari transmission, "We agree to peace." Torgath transmission, "We accept unity." Independent systems followed quickly after. Because humanity had not come to threaten the galaxy, they had come to protect it. The hologram faded, leaving the galaxy with a single thought. Humanity had risen not as conquerors, but as guardians. And for the first time in decades, the galaxy trembled, not from fear, but from hope.